आजको यो ऐतिहासिक दिन जुन चाहिँ हाम्रो गोर्खालीको लागि ऐतिहासिक दिन हो, जुन दिनलाई हामीले जस हाम्रो ग्याज भाइ हामीसँग नभए पनि हामी उहाँलाई सम्झनको लागि सदाको सम्झनको लागि हामी GRC3 को तर्फबाट हामीले यो स्ट्याचु उहाँको नाममा हामी बनाएको छौं। जुन स्ट्याचुलाई हामी हाम्रो जस गोर्खा भिजिटिङ सेन्टर ब्रिगेड अफ गोर्खा भिजिटिङ सेन्टरमा सदाको लागि राख्ने छौं। जुन स्ट्याचुले हामीलाई आशा छ, विश्वास गरौँ हाम्रो आउनेवाला दिनहरुमा एउटा इतिहासको पानामा यो स्ट्याचु रहनेछ र हाम्रो भावी सन्ततिले हाम्रो ग्याजबहादुर भाइ चाहिँ को हुनुहुन्थ्यो भन्ने कुरो जनाउनेछ। एट द सेम टाइम हामी समक्ष उहाँ नभए पनि हामी सधैँ यो स्ट्याचुलाई हेरेर उहाँलाई सम्झिराख्ने छौं। यसको अलावा हामी RGR को पर्सनल प्लस वन योक्स रेजिमेन्टको बीचमा यो स्ट्याचुले सदाको लागि हामीलाई साइनो गाँसिराख्ने छ, यो मलाई आशा छ। यसको साथसाथै हाम्रो GRC कम्पनी यस्तो कम्पनी हो जुन कम्पनी हाम्रो UK भन्दा बाहिर एउटा एज अ युनिट जस हामी युरोपमा सर्भ गर्ने पहिलो कम्पनी हो। यो हाम्रो ब्रिगेड अफ गोर्खाजको पहिलो हिस्ट्री हो। यसको साथसाथै हाम्रो ग्याज भाइ उहाँ यस्तो मान्छे हो जो हामी GRC फर्म भइसकेपछि त्यहाँ धेरैवटा GRC कम्पनीहरु जन्मे, तर GRC कम्पनी फर्म भएपछि पहिलो युद्ध मैदानमा लडाई गरेर वीरगति प्राप्त गर्नुहुने पहिलो व्यक्ति हुनुहुन्छ। यति भन्दै जस यो स्ट्याचुले वन्स अगेन हाम्रो भावी सन्ततिहरुलाई हामी कहाँ हाम्रो गोर्खालीहरु लडाई गरेका थियौं, कुन पल्टनमा गएर हामी लडाई गरेका थियौं भन्नुको साथसाथै हामीलाई अनि हामी आउनेवाला भाइहरुलाई चाहिँ हाम्रो यो स्ट्याचुले एउटा इतिहासको पानामा हामीलाई सदाको लागि सम्झाइराख्ने छ अनि सम्झिराख्ने छ। यति भन्दै म अब हाम्रो जो ओसी मार्कण्ड डाक्टर साहब उहाँ चाहिँ हाम्रो GRC कम्पनीको ओसी हुनुहुन्थ्यो, उहाँले सी कम्पनीमा उहाँलाई केही शब्द भनिदिन हुन म विनम्र अनुरोध गर्दछु हाम्रो ग्याज भाइको बारेमा।
This statue that is being presented to the visitor centre is a fitting tribute to a man and an individual who was an inspiration to all of us and will continue to be an inspiration to all of us from here on in. From my perspective, this operation was going to be the most dangerous operation that we were going to conduct within our tour, just by the nature of where we were going to go, and from previous tours, sort of historical reference to that area. At about 3 o'clock on that afternoon, we were contacted, or wrong, Dali Lely was contacted with small arms fire. My understanding, because I was obviously in compound 52, at that point, or somewhere around that point, is when Lance Corporal Gajbahadur Gurung was killed by a single shot, and ultimately, obviously then, his evacuation and everything started. The checkpoint was renamed CP Gaj, quite rightly, and for me, on a personal note to Gaj, out of context of the operation and everything else, I can stand in front of you here and now without any notes to talk about Gaj. Why? Because he made himself known not through just by his personality, being a very personal individual, by being a bright individual with much capacity for further development. And he was one of 2 individuals within the company, in my view, who had a long way to go and much to offer. And he was almost the new breed. And I think I wrote that he is a true Gurkha with a bit of a Western twist to him. And that is how I remember him. And he was an inspiration to me, and he continues to be from here on in. Thank you very much.
It was a true honour and a privilege to command and to work with somebody like Lance Corporal Gaj. It was an honour from the kind of person he was, the kind of soldier that he was, and then the kind of junior NCO that he became. Also, I'm very honoured to say that I could count him as a friend as well as a colleague. and someone who I work with very closely. He was just a breath of fresh air. I mean, it was a fantastic experience for me to work with the Gurkhas, and especially to work with someone like him. On the tour itself then, he obviously picked up prior to the tour and was a Lance Corporal and one of the 2 ICs, and invariably was my 2 IC on patrols when we went out. I remember one of the patrols that we went out on, we were in a situation we probably shouldn't have been in. We pushed a little bit too far. It ended up that we were surrounded. Pretty much we're getting contacts from 3 different sides. There was a mixed call sign. There was quite a lot of attachments. We had RMP and medics and all sorts, so it wasn't just the C Company guys ourselves or D Company guys ourselves. There was numerous attachments. Gaj was my 2 IC. He was kind of pinned down a bit further away from me. At this stage, we dropped into sort of Wadi and irrigation ditch, and I decided I was going to do my platoon commando bit, and I was going to jump up and I was going to run along and I was going to make sure everyone was all right. I did this, got about 2 meters, and rounds started coming in a little bit too close. So I dived head first back into the irrigation ditch and ended up with my face stuck in the mud. To which Gaj decided that he'd do his bit, and he jumped up, ran straight over to me, grabbed me around the throat, and I won't say it because we're on radio at the moment exactly what he said, but it was along the lines of, if you ever do that again, I will kill you myself, Sam. So that's the kind of guy I was working with. The force of character of this man, and the fact that he said this, a pretty serious thing he was saying to me, but he said it with a smile on his face. For me, to be able to work and command a man of that stature, and it was just a true honour. And the fact that as soon as he'd said that, he just turned around to me and he said, "Right, Sab, let's get these guys out of here. Let's get going." For me at this stage, I was obviously flapping a little bit, thinking, "How the hell are we going to get out of this?" But I knew as soon as Gaj turned up with that big smile on his face, he'd grabbed me around the throat and he'd given me a, "Right, let's get out of here." I knew, you know what, I've got Gaj here, it's going to be all right. He'll look after me. He'll get us all out of here. He'll get us back safe. Throughout the tour, there was numerous things I can say that he did, and I'm sure we all have fantastic stories to tell about him. It was a true honour to work with Gaj, to get to know him. You know, and as the OC said, he was somebody that you could get to know just by his force of character, his sense of humour, and just the man he was. So many people have spoken to me since, you know, the attachments from the tour, other platoon commanders and officers at battalion who randomly bumped into him or worked with him on different things. He was one of my best friends. He was a driver for him on an exercise, and they all had the exact same thing to say. You know, what a fantastic man! Someone that someone that you remembered. That by even if just a half an hour conversation, he left a lasting impression on you. And he's somebody that I know I will never forget. I know I'm stood here today because of what he did. Because of the work that he did out there and all the work he did before. You know, I learned a huge amount from that man. I know especially the junior guys in the platoon and the company can say the same. There's so many of us here that can be thankful for what he did. And if it hadn't been for the certain things that he did, I know a lot of us wouldn't be stood here today. I just want to finish with, you know, it was a wonderful honour and a privilege to get to know him in the short space of time we worked together, and I will never forget him.
लास्टको गाज मेरो नम्बरी मात्र नभएर उहाँ मेरो नजिकको साथी पनि हुनुहुन्थ्यो। उहाँलाई मैले 2009 मा GRC3 मा गएपछि घरिएर चिन्ने मौका पाएँ। त्यस वखतदेखि हामी एउटै प्लटुन अनि सेक्सनमा खेल्दै आएका थियौँ। उहाँ एकदमै हँसिलो, मिलनसार र परिश्रमी व्यक्ति हुनुहुन्थ्यो। उहाँको नयाँ व्यक्तिसँग छिटो घोलमिल हुन सक्ने र नयाँ साथी बनाउने कला देखेर म निकै अचम्मित हुन्थेँ। हामी जर्मनीमा हुँदा उहाँले छिट्टै जर्मन भाषा पनि सिक्नुभयो। पछि हामी बजारतिर गएको बेला उहाँले हाम्रो गाइडको भूमिका पनि निर्वाह गर्नुहुन्थ्यो। यस्ता विभिन्न गुणले परिपक्वता भएका व्यक्तिलाई 2012 जनवरी 27 का दिन अफगानको हेल्मन प्रोभिन्समा हामीले गुमाउनु पर्दा हामी मर्माहित भएका छौँ। हाम्रा गाज नम्बरी अहिले हामी सामु नभए पनि उहाँ हाम्रा प्रेरणाका स्रोत हुनुहुन्छ। हाम्रा नम्बरी गाजलाई हामीले कहिल्यै पनि बिर्सन सक्दैनौँ र बिर्सने पनि छैनौँ। गाज नम्बरी तिमी हाम्रा मनमुटुमा रहिरहनेछौ सदा सदा। ओम माने प्रेमी ओम, ओम माने प्रेमी ओम, ओम